let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to begin the Umoyo journey, and how has it evolved over the years?
Wow, it's been quite the journey, to be honest. It started really from my passion for health, for natural health and nutrition in particular, because I've always been interested in health my whole life. It's fascinated me. But I never thought I could make a career out of it. You know, I started by following a more traditional path, studying economics and management and working as a strategy consultant. But my passion has always been natural health. Even when I was a kid, I would read all my mom's health books. So I think she also inspired me a little bit. And we would have some of the meals that she prepared were perhaps very much health inspired. For instance, we're led to believe that milk is really good for us, right? There's a lot of propaganda around that it's good for healthy, strong bones. But if you really delve into it, that's actually not the case. And my mom knew this. So she wanted to make sure we were healthy as kids. So she would make sesame seed milk, where she would blend sesame seeds with water and add a banana. And that's what we had instead. So I think my mom was a big influence as well. And then whatever I read in these health books as a kid, I try to implement at home and just for myself, experiment with myself. So I was kind of that weird kid which would come to school with a lunch box with mashed banana and garlic, because I'd read garlic was so good for you. So I wanted to experiment on myself. But it wasn't until I had my first proper job, and I'm using air quotes here, that I realized that no, this is not, I was not meant to be a strategy consultant. This is not the purpose of my life. I want to do something with my passion, nutrition. So I quit my job and I went back to university to study nutritional medicine. And then after that, I pursued anything that I found interesting. I really studied. So various health modalities, iridology, where you look into the eyes to see what's going on in the body, live blood analysis, bioresonance, colon hydrotherapy, and so on. And also went to do internships with some of the best naturopathic doctors in the world, because I wanted to learn from the best. And then found myself back in Zambia, which is my home. I originally came here when I was 3 years old, but I found myself back in Zambia. And that's where I wanted to use all this knowledge and open up a health clinic. And that's how Amoya was born. That was back in 2007.
Wow.
Tiny little, well, it started with me just doing health consultations from a tiny rented flat in central Lusaka. And then that evolved into the Umoyo Health Clinic, which really we were doing cutting edge therapies there, helping people get onto better lifestyles and overcoming health issues. But as we were doing that, we soon realized that there were no quality health products in Zambia at that time. And Zambia, Lusaka looked very different. You know, that's like 18 years ago. You just couldn't get what you can get today. Now everything's available pretty much. But back then that it wasn't the case. We only had, 2 malls in Lusaka. We had Manda Hill and Arcades. Now how many do we have? I don't know, like tons of them. So that's when I decided to open Zambia's first health shop. And it was a tiny little shop at Arcades. And it still exists today there. So that's how we started. And then over time, we added more health shops. And then more recently, we pivoted to also manufacturing products, because our health shops are very niche. It doesn't reach a large audience. And we wanted to now buy locally sourced raw materials, add value, and create healthy but also delicious drinks and foods that we could bring to a wider market. So that's what you see, like you mentioned, in all the ShopRites and Pick and Pay and Choppies and Cheers. So you can find more people have access to it. So that was the goal, to healthy foods. So really people have a healthy option. If they want to buy a drink, they don't have to buy one which is just sugar water with artificial flavors and artificial colors, that there is something there which like our baobab juice or our hibiscus, the red passion juice. Here we've put, it's 100% real baobab or 100% real hibiscus, which means that you're getting all the health benefits from those raw materials when you drink that beverage, you know. So that's what we really wanted. So as you can see, it's been quite the journey, quite the evolution. I couldn't have foreseen where Umoyo would be today. And you know, a lot of the days it still feels that we're just starting. There's so much still that we want to do, but one step at a time, slowly we move forward.
Okay, so was affordability part of your motivation to getting these health goods out there, because your products are quite affordable as well?
100%. It's all about making it more accessible, and the Zambian market is quite price sensitive. So if you wanted more people to be able to access the product, the price has to go down. So 100%. Unfortunately, when you are dealing with natural raw materials, it is going to be a little more pricey than just using a chemical to flavor and to color the product. You know, that's just how it is. But we are doing everything we can to offer these products at an affordable price, so that more people can access them. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So what makes your approach to natural health different from other people who do have health stores or, you know, wellness products that are on the line here in Zambia?
Well, I'm not sure. You would have to give me a specific example for me to compare against, I guess. But I always feel that since the day one, we have been very clear about what Umoyo is about, what our brand stands for, and it's natural and it's quality. And integrity. Those are our three brand values. And rather than be too preoccupied by what everyone else is doing, because there will always be competition. That's the name of the game, you know, and that's not a bad thing at all. But that we focus on what we're doing and we do the best that we can, and we make sure that we are fulfilling our promise. So our promise is that it's going to be natural, it's going to be good for you, it's going to be a quality product, and we have the integrity that, you know, what we promise you, what we put on the label, that is what you're going to find in the product, you know? So that is what we have always stood for, and what we make sure that we continue to honor that promise to the consumer.
Now, I would say one of my favorite line of products is those drinks that you just mentioned, the baobab one, red passion.
Do an immuno boost.
Yeah. And then there's also like the kombucha ones as well, right? What are some of your best-selling products that you have on the line right now?
Yeah, so those drinks that you mentioned are, of course, very popular. We also have a drink, I don't know if you've come across this one. It's not as widely found, but it's one of our most popular drinks. It's called Dr. Ho's Formula.
Oh, yes, I have.
You have? Have you tasted it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. For those perhaps who have not tasted it, it tastes absolutely disgusting. Yeah, but you're not drinking it for the taste. You're drinking it for the effect it has on the body, and that is it's for weight loss and for cleansing, detox. It also helps if you're very constipated as well. Just opens up the bowels a little bit. And that is probably one of our best sellers, which says a lot about the state of people's health and what they want help with as well, you know. But in terms of things that actually taste good, I think our biggest products, our most popular product is probably our Alkaline Water, which is that pink water. And we were actually the first ones in Zambia to bring this to market. Now you can find other brands as well, but the Alkaline Water,
that is one that I think my mom has used quite a bit.
Oh, great.
I think she would be like an absolute fan of that one as well.
And do you know why she uses it? Why she chooses it?
So she recently was diagnosed with cancer. So this was something that would help her balance her alkaline levels in her body and stuff like that. And she found that, you know, even when she was experiencing body pains, it was something that kind of helped in a way with the discomfort that her body was experiencing. Because when she would drink regular water or like tap water, it was like a huge concern for her. So it was a bit of a problem when she would drink the regular water. But the alkaline kind of helped her balance out what was going on in her body.
That's so interesting that you say that, and I'm so happy that she has also that knowledge and that experience within herself, because a lot of people, they see alkaline water, they don't really understand, well, what is the benefit of it?
Yeah.
But what you mentioned is exactly that. You know, our bodies are designed to be alkaline, our tissues are designed to be alkaline, but through the way we eat and the way we live, our tissues become more and more acidic. And in an acidic environment, cancer can thrive. Bacteria, viruses, yeast, they love an acidic environment. So of course, if you want to heal yourself from any of those, or prevent such diseases, illnesses, then the more you can get your body back into an alkaline state, the better, right? Because in an alkaline state, cancer cannot exist. Bacteria, viruses, they cannot thrive, right? So we really want to be in an alkaline state. And drinking the alkaline water, it's not a magical solution that then my body immediately will become alkaline. No, but it's one thing as part of many, as part of a health program that can really help, right? And I can tell you, it's a lot better to drink alkaline water than acidic water, which of course will just add to the acidity in the body. So alkaline water is very much to people who are concerned about their health, or who might already be healthy but just want to keep that health and elevate that health, who are concerned about optimizing their health. Then alkaline water is a great option.
Okay, all right. So in your experience, what are the most common health and wellness goals that people struggle with here in Zambia?
Well, what we saw in the clinic back in the day, and the kind of the concerns that people come into our Umoyo health shops, it's weight loss. People want to lose weight, they're a bit overweight. And then it's hypertension and diabetes. I think though, and also now actually more and more reproductive issues. People are struggling to get pregnant. So I think those would be the main things. And you know, obesity, hypertension, diabetes, even reproductive issues. These are all, you can relate these back to diet and lifestyle. What you eat, how you live is going to directly impact whether you get sick or not.
But what steps or what daily habits would you recommend for someone who's just starting their wellness journey?
Well, you know, I usually say most of us, it's not a knowledge problem. We kind of know what is healthy and what isn't. It's not a knowledge problem. It's whether we do it or not, you know.
It's a discipline issue, right?
Absolutely. So we kind of know what not to do. We find ways to justify it to ourselves, ways to get away with it, you know, like we all know that processed foods ain't good for us, right? They subtract from our health. When we look at why am I eating, what is the purpose of food, of nutrition? Well, it is to provide your body with building blocks so you can build a strong, healthy body, right? If you don't have good building blocks, if you think of a house, if you have blocks that are going to crumble, for instance, how strong is that house going to be? Not very strong, right? It's not going to withstand the storms. So you want good building blocks to build that strong body, make you feel good, withstand illness, and so on. The purpose of nutrition is to build, it's to add to your health. But a lot of the foods that we eat, such as processed foods, such as sugar, such as alcohol, these subtract from our health. You know, processed foods, everything that was good in that natural food has been stripped away from it, right? We take the goodness out, and then because it doesn't taste so good anymore, we add sugar, we add fat, we add salt, we add artificial flavorings, and all of these things make it also quite addictive, which means I'm going to go back to that food, which is what a lot of food processors want, right? They want you to go back to the food. So all those things, it's not really adding nutritional value. You're not getting your vitamins, your minerals, your phytonutrients, but instead you're getting these chemicals and bad fats and too much salt, too much sugar, which make it more difficult for your body to stay healthy. So it has to deal with all this crap kind of thing that's going into, rather than stuff that's going to aid it, it's now subtracting from your health. And the thing is that your body is so resilient. It can withstand so much. It's really absolutely incredible. And that's why when you make bad choices like in your 20s, you're not going to feel it, right? 30s, maybe not so much. When you get to your 40s and your 50s, it starts adding up. There's only so much the body can cope with, but it's been doing a lot of work all this time. But you know, after decades of abuse by you eating the wrong foods and not taking care of yourself, you're going to start seeing the results. And that's when these illnesses start kicking in, the hypertension and the diabetes and the obesity and your problems with your joints and so on. Energy levels go down. So you're going back to your original question, you know, what are some of the things that we can do? Well, you know, ideally, we should start doing these things in our early 20s, of course. But whatever age you are at, let's say you're 50 or even 60 or even above that, making even small changes can have a big impact. But we have to remember it took decades to get to this point. So don't expect results overnight. It's going to take a bit of time, right? You got to clean out the gunk, for instance, you know, and then add the goodness back to the body. So it takes a bit of time. But it's usually not a knowledge problem. We know what to do. But often we only do something when things start going wrong.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We find ourselves in the hospital and now we're like, okay, so now I need a new diet. I need to change the way I'm eating. I need to change what I'm putting into my body. I need to get into the gym, and your body's not ready to start doing all of these things at the same time. But we don't want that slow progression into it. We want to rush into it because we want the solution as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And then, of course, people try and do everything at once. And that's hard and usually is not sustainable. So wherever you are now, you know, choose one thing because we kind of know what we're not doing well. And it's not going to be the same for everyone. So if you know that you're taking a little bit too much alcohol, then start cutting down on that. You know, if you're the kind of person who takes 4 teaspoons of sugar in your coffee and tea every day, several times a day, maybe start there. Cut down on the sugar, start using healthy sugar substitutes such as stevia or xylitol. You know, we know where we're going. If you know that you're overeating, for instance, then start there. But don't try and do everything at once because it's too much. We can't change overall our whole lifestyle and diet all at once. You can, but it's very difficult, and it's likely that you will just give up because it's just too hard. You know, your willpower can only take you so far. So it's about making small changes and changing, therefore, your habits. And once you've mastered one habit and you've changed it, well, then go for the next one. You know, but I wouldn't say do everything at once. No.
No, I wouldn't recommend it either. I think last year was the year that I did a lot of research into ultra processed foods and started cutting down on a lot of these types of foods as well. Started choosing, instead of like Kellogg's cornflakes, going for stuff like oats that you can cook. And then also, I think one of the major things that I did as well with regards to like diet or like cutting down on something was coffee. So coffee has been like a huge thing for me. Like I grew up, my dad used to drink coffee in the house. He was told to stop when he got BP, but like he still sneaks in a few here and there, you know. But like for me, the ultimate test for me, I think earlier this year, I did like a whole 10-day fast of coffee. And it was crazy. Like the first few days, it was just like, you know, if I smelt coffee, I wanted to go into the store, you know. But then you start to find these different alternatives. There's teas, you know, there's options of like healthy drinks like the ones that Omoyo provides, you know. And you start to realize that there's a whole different world out there of things that you could be consuming that you haven't been giving a chance because of the thing that you really want. Now, in all of this, there's also unrealistic diets, right? Fad diets that people get into that people want to throw you into, right? I've heard of this diet where you basically fast for the first maybe 4 or 5 days, and then you start getting into eating food, but it's like little food and it's not necessarily nutritious for you. Now, if I'm gonna set realistic wellness goals, how am I going to avoid these unrealistic fad diets?
Great question. Yeah, so I just want to say something about fasting, because fasting is something that we incorporated at the Umoyo Clinic, because it really has incredible health benefits, but you also got to know what you're doing, and if you haven't been taking care of your health for many, many years and you go on a water fast, it's gonna, you're gonna really, really struggle. And I would highly recommend that you do it supervised, because you will detox too fast. Yeah. But fasting has a place within, especially when there is illness and disease, it can help with that healing process and make it much quicker, basically. So accelerate it. But these fad diets, it's because we want quick results, isn't it? So we're looking for the magic bullet. Oh, what's the strategy that's going to solve my problems immediately? I want to lose 10 kilos in a month. How am I going to do it? We're looking for the magic bullet.
Yeah.
And I've tried pretty much every diet out there myself, because I've also been interested in how it affects my body. So I was raw vegan for a long time. So just eating plants essentially, and eating them raw, not even cooking them. I was proper vegan. I've been vegetarian. I even been carnivore, where it was the opposite. I didn't eat any plants and I just ate meat. And I think for me personally, and from the knowledge I have, what I've come to understand is that different diets will suit different people, right? We are not all the same. Yeah. And the key is to eat as naturally or as close to nature intended of whatever food it is you're eating. So if you're going to eat a potato. Don't eat potato crisps, because they have been deep fried. They have all the chemical flavorings on it, a ton of salt, all the bad fat. There's a complete difference there, right? You could say it's still a potato. It's not still a potato. That's a highly processed food. So, and that's why, with even Shima, most people buy breakfast meal, right? But that's a processed food. We've taken out the goodness there. So if you're going to eat Shima, then eat it as close to nature intended, at least with the fiber still intact, the roller meal. So whatever you're choosing, try and get to as close to nature intended as possible. And it goes back to then, cut out the processed. Cut out. If you could just do that, it would just move the needle in a positive way with regards to your health tremendously. Just that one thing. And this is also true for our kids. And so cut the process, cut the sugar. The sugar is a big one. Sugar, processed food, those are probably the two biggest things that I would say, if you want to stay healthy, get rid of those, or at least minimize them as much as possible. And the problem is that we've normalized it. Everyone is eating crisps. So if everyone's doing it, it should be okay, right? It's fine. Everyone's eating tons of sugar. I mean, sugar is in virtually every processed foods out there. Even the savory ones, you will find sugar in there. Well, everybody's eating these products, so what's the big deal kind of thing? We've normalized it. It ain't normal. It's not what we're meant to eat. We're meant to eat kind of what's produced by the earth, right? That's what God intended, not that we process these foods and make them into these highly addictive foods that, like I said earlier, subtract from our health, that make it harder for our body to stay healthy.
Okay. I actually have a friend who teaches like a nursery school, right? And she's in a nursery class, and she says to me, when you see the lunch boxes of the kids that come into the class, and she's like, half of the stuff that they're eating, like you won't see any vegetables for sure. If you do, it's like the rare carrot or something that's been thrown into there with a sandwich, but you'll see is Lay's, Simba chips, fizzy drinks, all of that. And she's like, this is the foundation, the training ground for children as they're growing up. What you're feeding them now is what they're going to attach some sort of emotional connection to, or whatever it is. So let's talk about mental well-being. How does that tie into what we put into our bodies, and also our wellness journeys as well?
Yeah, so a lot of the time when we talk about health, people just assume, we're talking about physical health, but we're these incredible spiritual beings having this human experience, and we're so much more than just our physical body. We're also our mental, emotional, and spiritual side, right? And for us to truly have health, we got to look at all of those things and not just compartmentalize it. And that's also, I think, one of the challenges with modern medicine, I guess, because even within the physical body, we cut it up into, you have a doctor who specializes for digestive health, or a doctor specializing on hormones, endocrine health, or the bones and joints, so we specialize, everyone's specializing. And because of that, sometimes we lose the big picture, because everything affects and interrelates with everything else when it comes to our health. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It all comes together. So what I do on a physical level will affect all the other areas of my health. It will affect my emotional health, my mental health. And my mental health, my thoughts, my emotions will affect my physical health as well. It all ties together. So what I'm saying is we have to pay attention to every area of our health. We can't just isolate one and say, okay, I'm going to get healthy physically, Well, what are you doing? Are you taking care of your mental health? What thoughts are you thinking day in, day out? Are you criticizing yourself continuously, for instance? That's going to have an effect on your physical health. It's just the way it is, We're these quite complex beings, so we have to look at that. So you got to really look at also what does health mean to you? How do you define health? Because I might go to the doctor because let's say I have a bit of a headache. My energy levels have been a little bit low. I'm just not feeling great. I don't have the motivation I used to have. So I go to the doctor. I want him to figure out what's wrong with me, right? Doctor does lots of different tests, comes back to me and says, hey, Kim, you are in perfect health. Nothing is wrong with you. And I go, okay, great. I'm so happy to hear that. But then I go home and I'm like, yeah, but I still have this niggling headache and my energy levels is low. So does that mean I'm healthy? No. Just because we can't, or the test can't necessarily diagnose you with an illness doesn't mean you're healthy. There's like a continuum. On one end, you're probably lying in bed and very, very ill. But then we have a lot of people who are walking around, they're going to their jobs, but they're not healthy. The continuum continues to that optimum health, and we have the privilege, a lot of us, to reach for that optimum health. We can choose the foods that we eat. We can choose whether we, like I gave the example, eat the potato or eat the potato chips, the crisps, right? We have a choice, and we can get to a place where we have not just energy, but we got clarity, we have peace, we have balanced emotions, that optimum health. And you need to sit down and look at what does health mean to me? Because unless you have a clear vision of why you want to be healthy, why would you even try? Why would you make those healthy choices? So what does it mean on a physical level? What does it mean on a mental, emotional level? What does it mean on a spiritual level? So on a physical level, for me, being healthy means I can use my body the way I want, when I want. If a friend says to me, hey, Kim, let's go for a 5K walk, I can great, yes, I'll join you, no problem, right? Or if someone says, hey, Kim, let's do the mud run together, that'll be tons of fun. Immediately I can say, yes, I'm physically capable. And when I get older, if I fall down, I want to be physically able to get myself up from the floor, right? So that's important to me. Then on a mental, emotional level, I want to have clarity of mind. I don't want that foggy brain. I don't know if you've ever experienced, when I eat a lot of sugar, my brain goes foggy. I cannot think clearly. It has a direct effect, right? I don't want that. So that's important to me. So, and then on a spiritual level, also I truly believe I'm on this earth for a purpose. I have a purpose. In order to fulfill that purpose, I need the energy and the clarity of mind, you know, to go out in the world. And my body is my physical vessel. So I want to take care of it. But for each and every one of us, we have to define why we want to be healthy. What does health mean to you? Like I said, if you don't have a clear vision and an emotional connection to why you want to be healthy, why would you make healthy choices? You know? So become really clear about that. And then it's about taking that responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. A lot of people don't like hearing that because they want to do whatever they want, eat whatever they want, live however they want, you know, drink, be out late, you know, very stressful lives. And then when they get ill, they go to the doctor and says, well, please solve my problem. I want a pill. Can you just recommend a pill? Not taking any personal responsibility. We want that quick solution because changing our lifestyle, that's hard. That's not easy. And the thing with, you know, me too, I would love a pill that could solve all my problems, right? But the thing is with pharmaceutical medicine is that it just masks the symptoms. It doesn't actually solve the problem. So if I have high blood pressure and I go to my doctor and pretty much say, solve my problem, he's going to give me some pills for high blood pressure, right? But there's a reason I have to take them every day. And the reason is because they don't actually solve the health conditions. They just mask the symptoms. They temporarily, artificially reduce the high blood pressure. But if I stop taking the tablets, the blood pressure goes up again, right? Because I haven't done anything to fundamentally change the underlying condition, right? The only way to do that is that I have to now change my diet, change my lifestyle, change how I live, start exercising. And that's hard. That means I have to take responsibility. And a lot of people, they don't want to do that, right? So they'd rather just continue taking the pills. So health it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility. Also, I find a lot of times we instead of taking responsibility, we make excuses for why our health is the way it is. You know, oh, I don't have time. I have a very stressful job. You know, I don't have time to go to the gym. Or we blame our parents. It's the genes. I have high blood pressure because my father had high blood pressure. And yes, genes play a part, but it's an extremely small part. Whether those genes are turned on or off, that depends on your lifestyle. How you eat, how you live. That's under your control, but you got to take responsibility for that. And a lot of the time it's easier just to say, no, it's because of my genes. It's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about it. But that's so far from the truth. It's just we got to take that responsibility.
Now, you spoke a little bit about what I want to ask in my next question. And for busy professionals, right? For people who wake up, so you were asking me what time I get here. So I get up at like 4 a.m. in the morning, right? And I get everything ready for the kids at home. And then I basically get into a car and come here. And I'm here by like 5:40 maybe, right? Now that means that I probably won't get breakfast unless I'm very intentional about it. Now for people who are not very intentional about their health, right, and they have very busy schedules, how do I maintain that the wellness, the health that you're speaking about? Because it obviously is going to have to be an intentional journey, but are there certain things that I need to do to ensure that I'm still healthy, I'm still getting my exercise in, I'm still making sure that I'm eating right? What do I need to do?
The main thing it comes down to is priorities. It's what do you prioritize? And the things that we don't prioritize, we can make excuses for. But there's certain things, and I'm sure if you think about it for yourself as well, the things that you prioritize that are a must for you, you get them done. And a lot of the time, our health, exercising, eating healthy, whatever it is, getting enough sleep, well, it's a should. Yeah, I should go to the gym. I should do some exercise. I should move my body. But if it's a should, if something that's more important comes up, well, okay, well, I'll do that instead. It's not a must, is what I'm saying. You really have to change those shoulds to a must. So it doesn't matter what's going on that day. you're still going to get your exercise in. Even if you're busy, even if you're tired, even if you don't feel like it, if it's a must for you, you will get it done. And this is so it goes back to priorities. What is really important to me? And then it's about how I see myself, my identity, how I define myself. Because for me, if I use this in a positive way, I define myself, I see myself as a fit person. And as a fit person, I move my body every day. So I make sure that is what I do, because that is how I define myself. And with how we define ourselves, our identity, we always make sure that we are taking actions in line with that to reinforce who we believe we are. It's very unsettling if we start doing things that are not in line with our identity. So for me, moving my body, it's not even a question. It's just something I do. It doesn't take effort for me to decide I'm going to do a yoga class or I'm going to the gym or whatever. It's no effort because it's who I am. But if you have defined yourself as, oh, I'm not a fit person, I'm not someone who does exercise, or I don't have the willpower for that, then that is how you've defined yourself. And it's going to take a lot of effort then to go to the gym, because you're going against who you think you are. So when we change our habits, it's very hard in the beginning because we're going against how we define ourselves. But slowly, day after day, because you're doing it, you start changing how you see yourself. You start changing how you are, your identity essentially. And one day you'll wake up and suddenly you are a person who goes to the gym. You're a person who exercises, and then it's not difficult anymore. It's kind of, you mentioned you went on, you cut out coffee. I've done the same in the past. I've done challenges where I've cut out coffee or cut out sugar. And in the beginning, it's freaking tough, like for sugar, for instance, sugar is addictive. And I know I'm very sensitive. I like sugar. I like sweet things. So in the beginning, it's like, it's almost impossible. Like it's white knuckling it, cutting out that sugar. But after 30 days, it was a piece of cake. That's a bad way of putting it, bad phrasing, but it was very easy because how I saw myself had completely changed, and suddenly I was just a person who doesn't eat sugar. So when sugar is presented, it's like, well, I don't need it. I'm not that person anymore. So habits and identity go very much hand in hand.
So it becomes more of a choice than it is a necessity for you to have sugar or for you to have caffeine. You know what I mean? Like because before it's like you're addicted to it. You always have it. It's part of your daily routine. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is have coffee. But then you start to realize that once you remove the need from it, you now start to realize, okay, so this is more of a choice for me, and this is what I'm choosing every single day.
And I love coffee. Hey, I that first coffee in the morning, it's just the best, right?
It's different.
Yes, it does. And I sometimes get a little bit scared. Kim, are you addicted to this stuff? I don't like that feeling. So every now and again, to prove to myself that I'm not addictive, that I am in control rather than it controlling me, I will go off it for a couple of weeks, just to prove to myself that. But that's just me. I'm not saying that anyone has to do that. And it's not impacting my life in a negative way. But there are things out there that certainly do. So, for instance, like sugar and alcohol, Okay, so taking from your example, what would you say your daily wellness routine looks like? Okay. So I do quite a lot. It shifts every now and again. But when I wake up in the morning, I do a breathing exercise. I always do breath work, and it just makes me feel so good. And then I generally do an ice bath, or during cold season, I'll jump in the pool. And that just wakes me up, makes me feel amazing. It's the hardest thing. I mean, I never wake up wanting to do it, ever. And I try and make up all sorts of excuses why today is not the day. But, and I do miss a couple of days. I'm not perfect by any means. But when I do it, I feel freaking amazing, So I do my breathing, jump in the pool or do an ice bath. At the very least, finish my shower with cold water. Another health routine that I have, maybe not as well known, but I scrape my tongue. And I do that twice a day because your tongue builds up a lot of gunk that is not good for you. And this actually comes from Ayurveda, which comes from India, thousands of years old healing practices. And it's a very simple thing. I mean, it's just like a metal little thing shaped like a horseshoe, and you just scrape it along your tongue. But you could use a spoon. Some people brush their tongue with their toothbrush, but I find scraping it just really takes off any layer there that shouldn't be there. So I do that. Also, by the way, that's one of the best ways for you to freshen up your breath, because it's usually not the teeth. People brush their teeth to get fresher breath. It's the tongue. So get rid of the gunk, the layer on the tongue, and your breath will transform immediately, basically. Yeah. So I do that. I also, in the morning, make sure I practice some gratitude, because that for my... Just, have you ever woken up and you feel like you're tired, and then as you get up, you stub your toe on the edge of the bed and you're like, oh my God, this day is going to be horrendous. And it sets a negative tone for the whole day.
Yeah.
So I want to do the opposite. I want to set a positive tone for my day. And the quickest way to do that is gratitude. Yeah. So you think about the things that you have rather than all the things you don't have, all the things, however small, that you can feel grateful for. Because when you feel gratitude and you really connect with that feeling in your heart, you can't be angry. You can't have gratitude and be angry at the same time. You can't be frustrated and grateful at the same time, right? So just thinking of a few things that I can really connect to, that I'm grateful for, it sets a positive tone for my day. So I do that. And then I also do something for my mental stimulation. I'll read some inspirational texts in the morning. And that, all of those things together sets me up for a good day. Because I have spent my life within health, I'm very, what's the word? Very, I pay attention to what I eat. Like I said, I'm not perfect, and I don't think you need to be in order to take care of yourself. You got to be a little bit flexible and lenient with yourself. I usually tell people what really matters is what you do 80% of the time. So on a special occasion, eat that cake, have that glass of wine. It's okay. Your body can handle it. It's what you do day in and day out that makes the difference. So 80% of the time, you got to take care of yourself. But the problem is, I don't know if you can relate with this, you eat one chocolate cake, it was so good, but the next day it's like, eesh, I should have a cookie. And then you have another cookie, and suddenly it creeps in, and now it's part of your daily routine. That's the danger, right?
The domino effect.
Yeah. So sometimes for me, I almost find it easier just to say no completely. But people are different here. But remember, it's not saying, you don't have to say no to chocolate cake your whole life. Or no to alcohol your whole life. No, but it needs to be in moderation. If you're a person who cannot take it in moderation, for instance, we see that with alcohol a lot, even with sugar, then maybe you have to say, this is just not for me. It's easier for me to say completely no to it than to have the choice. So that you have to have the self-awareness to see what you can handle. But generally, it's what we do consistently day in and day out, 80% of the time. If you indulge every now and again, your body can handle it. But once it starts creeping in daily, you're going to run into problems.
Oh my gosh, we could be here for so long talking about this. But I did want to ask you, what do you see the future of health and wellness in Zambia looking like 5 years from now?
Well, I see that when I started Umoyo, nobody was interested in this stuff. I wrote in one of the national newspapers every week for 7 years to get people interested in health and nutrition. And back then we didn't have social media. Back then internet was, not as prevalent as it is now. We didn't have the smartphones. So I've seen a tremendous change in people getting interested in health. Before, you never saw anyone jogging on the street. Now they're everywhere, these joggers, you know. And another example I can give is that we have our baobab juice, and we do put a bit of sugar in that.
Okay.
Not a lot. It's very limited, the amount of sugar. But some people came to us and said, our customers in our shops, like, we want a sugar-free version. We didn't just decide to do that. That was demand driven, and that shows how people are changing and they want healthier choices. So I think this will continue, and hopefully there will be more and more healthy choices available for people, and also that people are a little bit more have more knowledge about making those healthy choices. For instance, Umoyo's kombucha. Super healthy. We ferment that for 8 weeks. And you need that time for the probiotics, the healthy enzymes, the healthy acids in there to develop. So when you drink an Omoyo kombucha, it is phenomenal for your immune system, for your digestive system. Great for you. But a lot of the kombuchas on the market, they have been fermented quickly over a day or two. And some even have kombucha flavor. I won't name brands, but and then you're not going to get the health benefits. So it's also for consumers. The more knowledge consumers have, the more savvy they become with regards to what's healthy and what's not, and they can make that discernment. The better, obviously, because then they can make better informed decisions about what the foods and the drinks that they choose. And we're heading over in that direction, but I still feel there's a long way to go.
So Kim, thank you so much for coming through today. I know when you initially walked in, you were like, 40 minutes is going to be so long, but it's been 47 minutes.
Wow. And like you said, we can continue, can't we?
We could keep going, but it's definitely going to be an interesting journey, speaking about Amoya's products and just learning a little bit more about the journey, and also inspiring other people who will be listening in for how they could go about their wellness journeys as well. So this is going to be NutriLife every single Tuesday from 8 to about 8:40.